Welcome back, horror fans. Pumpkin Claw here. Before the likes of Stephen King, Dean Koontz, and Jack Ketchum, there was Howard Phillips Lovecraft. Now, he is an immense inspiration and source of influence on modern-day horror. But during his time as a writer for pulp magazines such as Terror Tales and Startling Stories, he was almost unknown and died with his marvelous work falling into virtual anonymity. Many horror fans familiar with the movies of John Carpenter, Guillermo Del Toro, and H.R. Giger could see the impact from Lovecraft in their works. But I'm going to introduce you to a man who helped rise Lovecraft from falling into the abyss of lost history and gain the prominence he is known for today. In the 1920s, Lovecraft met another writer, August Derleth, when they both were submitting work to Weird Tales. It can be said that they became close friends, or as close as a friend that the enigmatic Lovecraft had. Both men greatly admired each other, and though lived on the other side of the continent from one another, with Lovecraft in Massachusetts and Derleth in Wisconsin, they continually corresponded through letters during a time when communication at a distance took great effort. Lovecraft and Derleth often shared ideas and drew inspiration in each other's works. According to sources, the fictional French aristocrat Comte de Derleth, who in Lovecraft lore wrote the book Contes des Ghouls, which was studied by background characters in both Lovecraft novellas The Shadow of Time and Haunter of the Dark, was said to be based on Derleth. In 1926, August Derleth sold his first piece, Bat's Belfry, to Weird Tales, a horror fiction pulp magazine. Shortly after, Lovecraft published in the same magazine The Call of Cthulhu, the staple in what you could call Yog-Sothoth, which in Lovecraft's work was a cosmic entity with godlike proportions. Derleth saw all Lovecraft's work as having an overall pattern reflecting Lovecraft's view regarding a chaos-driven world, with the common themes and beasts from cosmic universes bent on the destruction not only of the physical world, but the fragile rationale that we project ourselves in. Following Lovecraft's death in 1937, Derleth and Donald Wandry, another frequent contributor to Weird Tales, attempted to gather a large collection of Lovecraft stories and have them published to the mass market. With little interest from publishing houses, Derleth decided the only way to preserve the legacy of his dearly departed friend was to publish the writings himself. In 1939, Derleth and Wandry found Arkham House, named after the fictional Massachusetts town many of Lovecraft's stories were based in. The first publication by Arkham House was a hardcover copy of mostly Lovecraft novellas and stories called The Outsiders and Others. At 550 pages, they sold enough copies to sustain the business and expand. This allowed Derleth to create a number of writings based on Encyclopedia of Lovecraft's work, including partial notes from uncompleted stories and story outlines left after his death. This was frowned upon by contemporaries who said that Derleth simply used Lovecraft's name to raise his own appeal to fans in the market. Though if compared to now, creative license and inspiration, especially from Lovecraft in modern times, is commonplace. This can still be seen as an issue on debate among critics and scholars. Some feel the Cthulhu mythos, a term coined by Derleth himself, though ironically now is not often credited to him, is not suitable for the amoral themes driven by Lovecraft writing. Others have stated that Derleth never once attempted to blatantly pass Lovecraft-inspired work off as purely original piece, and always attributed himself as a contributor. This idea alone is a cause for discussion, an example being when Christopher Tolkien began editing and assembling the Silmarillion. Some fans felt was unnecessary and would never be pure to the Middle-earth universe. But then again, who is to say what the wishes of dead artists are? It was believed that Lovecraft always encouraged expansion and sharing of thoughts. In essence, a universe is ever growing, and that is what Lovecraft was seeking to create. Contrary to the point, the culmination of Lovecraft writing with the collaboration of Derleth, accompanied with Derleth's effort with Arkham House, could be credited with raising Lovecraft from literary insignificance. And the Cthulhu mythos influence echoes across decades of writing, television, and movies still to this day. It is seemingly peculiar that the man who helped bring H.P. Lovecraft to modern day decades after he died and destitute would be lost in the background noise himself. If you are a fan of Lovecraft, then do yourself a favor and look up one of August Derleth's books and discover the long-forgotten friend to the famed horror legend. Are you familiar with August Derleth? What are some of your favorite H.P. Lovecraft works? Comment in the section below, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Stay scared.